Hello and welcome to Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Small. I'm an Indianapolis attorney, and I'm co-host with Paul Ogden, also an Indianapolis attorney. We are coming to you from Big Hat Bookstore, 6510 Cornell Avenue, located on the north side of Indianapolis in a district called Broad Ripple. If you're in Antarctica or Australia or something, that'll give you kind of a geographical context of where we are. Big Hat Books has an excellent selection of books here. They also have room here to rent for special occasions. It's a really neat place. The G.C. Lucas Art Gallery is displaying works of art here too by local artists and artists from all over the country. So that's a nifty thing to keep in mind too. And Paul, describe our show.
Civil Discourse Now is a program that talks about local, state, national, even international politics. We try to have a civil discussion of the issues where we don't talk over each other, and hopefully bring some intellectual discussions to the forefront. So,
I certainly try.
I hope so. Mark, will you introduce the guests?
Yeah, our guests today are Jon Easter, sitting to my right. He's a teacher, and he has Indy Democrat, IndyDemocrat.blogspot.com.
Yeah, .blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com. Okay, IndyDemocrat.blogspot.com. It's a really good blog.
It's very good.
Yeah, and we also have Matt Stone, who's been a guest to the show before. He has Indy Student Blog. And I ran for City-County Council in 2011 as a candidate from the Libertarian Party. Today we're going to talk about the 2012 elections, kind of like an overview. We're going to be doing this a bunch this year, talking about the elections. But today we're going to just do a thumbnail description of the different races going on in the 4 segments that we do. The first is going to be about the congressional district races, second, presidential race, third, race for governor, and fourth, race for Senate. Congressional races, let's get a couple of them out of the way real quick. First district is in the very far northwest, and you've got to realize that in 2000, the state was redistricted, and so every 10 years they do that. That's a provision in the Constitution.
And it was done in 2010. Right?
Yeah, and then it was done again in 2010. And when they redistricted, Republican Party did the redistricting. And ever since Eldridge Gary was governor of Massachusetts, things get kind of gerrymandered occasionally. But this time they just try to make Republican districts kind of safe and stuff. So there are 9 districts in the state of Indiana. The first district is northwestern part of the state. It's DeRegion. Pete Visclosky is the incumbent there, a Democrat. He's been in office since '85. I think that he could pass away, and in 4 years they'd still be voting for him.
Mark, I have the numbers. That district's getting a little bit closer. It was 59-39 last time. They took it further east. It might be a little bit more Republican, but Visclosky should win that easily.
The filing deadline for candidacy is February 15th. And the 2 anticipated opponents that he has are Mark Leva, a Republican, who's described on this one website as carpenter and frequent candidate, and Joel Phelps, who's a businessman. A frequent candidate, that describes Mitt Romney's. The second district, well, that's true. Second district we'll get to in a couple of minutes. Third district is Marlon Stutzman is the incumbent there. He's a Republican. That's solid. There's nobody even anticipated. District 4, Todd Rokita, Republican, same gig. District 5, Dan Burton. Dan Burton reminds me of Burt Reynolds' character in Striptease. But nobody thinks that he's going to win in the next election, and he always does. And
It's not the election that the primary, because the election, the general election, yeah. If you're the Republican nomination in the 5th district, you will win the election.
That district's gotten a little more Democrat, but still, it's Democrats. Hard chance. It'd be very hard to win that district.
Well, as you remember, last time around in the 5th district, the Democrats actually had endorsed a very good candidate, Nasser Hanna,
right.
And then he lost in the primary to Tim Crawford, who was kind of a Democrat in disguise. But you know, it's a district that whoever wins that Republican primary, whoever survives out of that marathon of candidates, is going to be the person that probably goes to Congress.
And John, you might be too young to remember, that actually happened previously about 10 years ago with Bob Kern.
Yeah,
Was,
I remember that. Yeah.
You remember that? So,
I voted Libertarian in that election.
okay.
Joe Hauptman, I think, was running
Yeah, I think he was.
Libertarian.
Right.
And we're not required to disclose how we voted in past elections. That's
I
a
couldn't
statute. So we weren't compelling you to do
Could
that.
not vote for Bob. I'm sorry for watching Bob. I could not vote for Bob Kern.
Okay.
The other candidates anticipated are actually filed right now on the 5th. For the Republicans, they've got Susan Brooks, who was the U.S. attorney here, Jack Lugar, who's an attorney and a real estate broker, David McIntosh, who used to be a member of Congress.
Correct.
Those are all and John McGough, who ran before he was coroner. And he and Burton have a lot in common because Burton was a mortician. Those are the Republicans. On the Democrat, you got Tony Long, Scott Reski, apparently have already filed. The 6th district, Mike Pence is running for governor, so he's the incumbent there.
Correct. There's an opening. That's an open seat.
There's a passel of Republicans who've announced. Don Bates, who's a bank branch manager and financial advisor. Bill Frazier, who's an ex-state senator, retired farmer, and frequent candidate. I like how they put frequent candidate. They should just put an asterisk in there.
Well, Don Bates also previously ran for the open Senate seat in the Republican primary in 2010. He got about 5% of the voters, but he gained a lot of momentum from that.
And he also made some very controversial gun-related comments, as you may remember. In that, I'm wondering what seat Mike Young's going to run for this time. Because he always seems to find himself a congressional seat to run for, even if he doesn't live in that district.
His seat is actually up this year, so he won't.
In the Senate.
In 2012, so he won't be running.
It's
only in between elections.
That was a joke.
Let me continue, if I may. I guess because Bates only ran the one time, he's not a frequent candidate, so he's just...
He will be next time.
Yeah, he will.
That's
I guess
the...
three and more. Bill Frazier, Travis Hankins, a real estate investor, Tea Party activist, ex-seminary student, and a 2010 candidate. Okay, John Hatter, who's a college administrator, ex-congressional aide, and Army veteran. Nate Lamar, these are all Republicans. Henry County Council president, businessman, ex-teacher, and Army veteran. And then Luke Messer, who's ex-state rep, ex-state GOP executive director,
Probably
attorney.
Favorite.
That sounds like it.
Maybe Dave McIntosh.
And no, McIntosh is
he's the 5th.
he's
Sorry.
the 5th.
Sorry.
Andrew Phipps is a retired educator, gospel music TV show host, and frequent candidate.
Can we get him?
Okay, why not? Maybe he'll sing. Now those are all Republicans.
Mark, I found another one, just doing some research. Someone named T.J. Thompson has put up a website and a Facebook page.
Oh, that's an
A
indicator.
Republican.
Okay, then Democrats, we've
That's
got
the only list.
Dan Bowling. There's no description of his background. Brad Bookout, who's an ex-Delaware County councilman and economic development consultant. Jim Crone is ex-Jefferson County councilman and Jefferson County Democratic chair and college professor, which would probably be Hanover. That's going all the way down to Madison. You're talking about how that congressional
That district has changed a lot. It used to be the 7th. It used to be the 9th congressional district. The 6th now extends all the way from Madison, where I was born, southern Indiana, Ohio River, all the way up to where I went to school, Muncie, Ball State.
Yeah, but that Ohio River gets up weird chemicals going in the air, and people down there are just...
We're far different. Exactly. We're far different. But that is a pretty safe Republican seat now, as opposed to being the competitive one it was before.
Then Jim Crone, did I say? Yeah, then also Barry Welch is anticipated. He's a Methodist minister, ex-teacher, and frequent candidate. I like that. That's another frequent candidate.
Can we possibly get the state senate to pass some standards of what is a frequent candidate? I think they should work on this bill.
Maybe they can
in
get
the
them
state senate.
That would be good.
Flyer miles.
So,
I mean, I don't really think they're doing much else.
So if you're Vanetta
Becker,
if you're watching, can
she's
you get
a
to work
frequent
on
candidate.
that?
Of course, she was frequently elected.
Right, but can you get to working on what those standards might be for what a frequent candidate is?
Where are these descriptions coming from?
It's a website, online guide to Indiana politics.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what are the other districts?
Well, we go back to District 2, and District 2 is Joe Donnelly is the incumbent there. He's not going to run for re-election. He's running for United States Senate.
And the past election result there, I believe, was 48-47.
And
Not only barely won, and they've changed that district to take out Kokomo and put in Elkhart County, which is a lot more Republican than Kokomo is.
yeah, well, and see, Kokomo, okay, Howard County itself is Republican, but Kokomo is more Democratic because of the car factories that used to be there, and Delco then became Delphi, whatever. But that was real close, and they had a Libertarian candidate who ran who pulled votes away from Jackie Walorski. But she's got a lot. Okay, here's the thing about the Democrats who are running. And they're running on really kind of.
Yeah, this is an interesting race.
Brendan Mullen is an Iraq War veteran, and it says consultant on here. He's a defense contractor. He does different IT stuff for military applications. And he says on his website he provides Hoosiers with jobs. It's listed as being a Washington, D.C. company. So that's not, so they kind of brought him in. And Straw's website says that he's really a Republican. Mullen's wife.
Not Straw. Straw's a Democrat.
But Straw's saying that
Straw's saying that Mullen's a Republican.
Mullen's Republican.
And Mullen is being backed by the Indiana Democratic Party as well. So there's a lot of controversy there. Andrew Straw actually sued the St. Joseph County Democratic Party for over ADA concerns at their headquarters up there in the 2nd District headquarters. So, you look at that, and the powers that be up there certainly probably are reacting to some of that when they endorse Brendan Mullen too. But it's that race is getting very nasty between the Democrats.
You say sued in 1988? You said 88.
He sued the
under Section 1988.
Oh, Section 1988. Okay.
Did I say? I didn't.
I thought you
say
maybe 1988. I thought, well, you really hold a grudge on all that.
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't mean to mention 1988.
All right.
If that slipped in there.
Yeah.
I think you said 88.
But Straw.
ADA.
Oh, ADA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
guess.
88. Because there was a big story on the South Bend TV stations about the lack of access. Straw is big on the rights of the disabled.
Yeah, that's his.
And Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yes.
We should clarify.
Whereas Mullen's wife was a Republican counsel attorney for John Boehner's committee in the U.S. House of Representatives,
Right.
and then Mullen moved back here to Indiana to be able to run. And
there's some, once again, some question about his voter registration and things like that, which Straw is bringing up. So there's a lot. I mean, it's a very interesting thing. Jackie Walorski said,
Yeah, there she's happy.
let him fight.
yeah, whereas Jackie Walorski's campaign, see, Mullen doesn't have anything about his positions on his website that I could find.
But none of these candidates at this point do. Very few.
Straw does, and Walorski does. She's out front about it.
Well,
and she's anti-choice, pro-war, pro-gun. I mean,
I think Mullen is going to run as I'm a veteran. That's his calling card. And I'm a Democrat and I'm a veteran, so I'm okay to vote for me if you're a Republican.
well, and he has to deal with the whole thing of as conservative as that district is. But the other candidates up there, Greg Andrews is a physician and an attorney. He's a Republican. Anticipated is Mark Meisner, who's an ex-congressional aide and was a candidate in 02. Mitch Bikes is a Republican, LaPorte School Board president and home building contractor. And then, of course, Jackie Walorski. And we will wrap up this first segment. We'll be back in just a couple. Thank you very much for watching us. We're at the end of this segment.